what you're not going to do. Your blessing is on him. His blessing is on you, but you're not going to embarrass him by not being prepared for when he's going to send you somewhere. So this episode is sponsored by Using the Power of Your Voice, eGuide, your guide to launching your podcast in 30 days. Are you feeling a calling from God to start a podcast, but uncertain about where to begin or what you'll need? Creating a podcast can be fulfilling and an enjoyable experience. Whether you're interested in sharing your expertise on a specific subject, conducting engaging interviews, or educating and entertaining your listeners, podcasting can help establish strong connections and foster a sense of community. Using the Power of Your Voice is a guide to start your podcast in just 30 days and is perfect for anybody who is clear that God told them to start a podcast. Whether you're nervous about recording or unsure where to start, this guide will provide you with the valuable insights and actionable steps to help you record and launch in 30 days. In this guide, you'll learn to identify your why, find your topic, learn where to host your podcast, and what equipment you'll need to start. If you are ready to be obedient in your calling and start your own podcast in 30 days, this guide is a must have. Download your copy of Using the Power of Your Voice today by going to www.slingselfdoubt.com/podcast. I cannot wait for you to start using the power of your voice. And thank you for your support. Hey Slayers, welcome back to the Slaying Self-Doubt YouTube channel. Here is where we empower Black women to overcome their doubts, fears, and insecurities in order to walk into their God-given purpose. How do we do that, you ask? Well, we create safe and brave spaces just like this for Black women to show up authentically as themselves. So join me and sometimes some of my friends on our journey as we remind you that you are not alone. I am Coach Felicia, and together we will find our fears and slay them. Hey Slayers, welcome back to another episode of Slaying Self-Doubt Podcast. It's your girl, Coach Felicia. Y'all, I know maybe some of y'all listening and y'all hear me say Coach Felicia. And so I just want to identify what that really means, right? So I went through a coaching accreditation program. I am ICF certified, which is the International Coaching Federation, which is a big deal. But my specific expertise is in self-doubt, the self-doubt coaching, right? And so that is what I do. So for those of you all who are new here and you're like, coach or what, child? People generalize it as life coaching, but I specifically my expertise is in self-doubt. And so I am your self-doubt coach. All right. And so welcoming all the new Slayers, the new YouTubers. I'm recording this on Thursday. I just put it on YouTube Wednesday. Y'all, let me just tell you something. Y'all know last week I was procrastinating like I don't know what on recording, because it's just once you take a break, and I was on break for a long time. Y'all remember Kings of Comedy when Secretary Entertainer was like, when Black people break, we break. And that's what I did. Sis was like, I'm out in May, I'll be back in September. Okay. And so I realized even last week, like I was surprised, like because I hadn't talked to you all in a really long time, like I was like, dang, I saw for 45 minutes. Now, granted, I had a lot to say, right? Because there was a lot of catching up. There was a lot of what's going on with me, blah, 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 blah. But I was like, because I did all of that and I was rushing, it was the holiday weekend, all of that stuff. I just got delayed in like pushing out my content. And it kind of frustrated me a little bit, honestly, because I was like, girl, you've been doing this for too long to still be doing the same thing, right? Anybody else been doing something so long that you should know better, but you just continue to do wrong because it's just easier in some ways? And I'm not even getting on you. I'm just really saying, like, for the most part, my doing this after this long 4 years, it's like top tier in my eyes, right? I'm pretty sure someone who has a whole podcasting team is probably like, girl, you are right. But for me, doing it by myself, okay, me being the host, the engineer, the producer, the creative director, the marketing person, and all of that, baby, top tier work. Okay. So when I'm not giving 100%, I be blown at myself, because who else gonna be mad at? I ain't got no staff. But anyway, so by the time this episode comes out, which is the start of football, child. Let me get into that real quick. Let me just get into the regular stuff. First of all, welcome y'all. Welcome to all the new Slayers. I don't care how you found me. I'm just glad that you have decided to join the movement. Share with at least 10 people because we're trying to reach 100,000 downloads this year by the end of 2023. And so I need you to share across all platforms. I want to get my numbers up on YouTube as well. Ideally, you guys, I really am, and I said this last week, and I'm just going to keep saying it. I would like to have my own content studio to be able to have live in-person interviews, and that is something that I'm excited about. And so I just I need it so the people will give me the monies. How about that? That's what we need. We need the people to say, hey, we want to see Slaying Self-Doubt on the Tizoob, or we want to see Slaying Self-Doubt at a conference or something. Like, I'm trying to glow up, right? So I need y'all help so that people will know, hey, this is a real thing. So share, rate and review. Don't forget to do that. Say something nice in the comments, okay? The Slay in One Day workshop, y'all. Come on now. Y'all have from September to June. I ain't even gonna sweat you, right? But every September, third Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m. Eastern time, go ahead and get your tickets. It's on Eventbrite. It's on my website. It will be in the show notes. You can find it. It literally is me giving you 4 ways to slay your self-doubt. And this is something that you can do repeatedly over and over again. You can do the workshop over and over again too, but and it's $25, like the investment is $25. I want to tell y'all that I'm not out here trying to, I want y'all to win, right? And I want y'all to have success. So I'm not out here being like, sign up and it's, $9.97 or nothing like that. Like, no, God gave this to me, and he is like, share. And, some of y'all know it's taking me a while to even make y'all pay $25 because I'm willing to give it away for free because the Lord just keep blessing me, so I feel like I should bless y'all, right? But this supposed to be a business, not a hobby, and that makes the difference, okay? When you're an entrepreneur, you got to make some money, okay? Using the power of your voice, eGuide. Y'all, I told y'all I have some people who have used it before, who have used it currently, and they all publish their podcast in 30 days. Like, legit, I'm not even swelling. Like, it really is something that you can do. So if starting a podcast is something that you want to do, something God has been pushing you to do, download the workbook and get to work and get it done. Prayer journals on Amazon. You can find it on the website. It's about to be hoodie season, y'all. And I should have made that last, but it's about to be hoodie season. Join the Facebook group. And if you, at the top of this, I said something about me being a self-doubt coach. If you want to invest in coaching, connect with me. Like, this is what I do, right? Like, this is another reason why I'm doing the Slaying One Day workshop too, is because I understand, just like therapy, having to look at yourself and having to literally put a mirror up to yourself and say, what is the thing that is holding me back? Like, why am I still here? Is a hard thing, right? And so this is kind of like a sneak peek into what coaching with me would look like. And it'll be clearly on a different level. Definitely because there are other people in this group, but in the workshops, but on a more personal level, it would be you working with me. So it's almost like a trial and error. Like, you be like, I like her energy. You know what I'm saying? This is somebody that, you should already like my energy anyway, because you listen to the podcast, but whatever. So it's a trial, right? Like, you get an hour and a half with me, and then you say, yeah, this seems like something I want to be able to do. And so that's a plus, right? So I was saying something about hoodie season because y'all, football is back. All right. Life is different, okay, with teenagers and sports, because for a period of time, my kids didn't care about none of this stuff. My oldest son, I think I've shared with y'all multiple times, that he's not a sports guy. He is doing robotics engineering in his sophomore year of high school. Okay, that is his goal. He is like, we're not even worried about balls, like footballs, basketballs, baseballs. Like, that's not anything he's like concerned with. However, he's a teenager, and his friends are interested in football. So you know what he did? he joined a fantasy football league, and I can tell he got some excitement about it. But now it's like between, my husband loves football, my youngest son, he loves football too. So like the three of them are like bonding over. It's such a like special moment for me. Like, so I'm so soft when it comes to stuff like this. But like the three of them having something that they like talking about, they like going through their stuff or whatever. It's just such a cute moment. I'm just over here like, oh, even though he probably don't even know. And I definitely don't know because I said something this morning, like, why y'all just don't write it down? My son and my husband looked at me like, what? Like, you can't just do your fantasy on paper? Mommy, stop talking. Like, that's, that's literally what they gave me. Okay. So something I forgot to mention last week, well, I didn't necessarily forget, but I just kind of ran out of time, was that I did a photo shoot earlier this year with Crystal from iMagery. She does this event called Smiles and Sisterhood, where she has people come out and she will take these headshots of you, and like you could do different things, some marketing stuff, whatever have you, but she takes these beautiful headshots, and I had an opportunity to go this time around. She's done it a few times, and it's in the DMV, and generally it's free. You get one free headshot, right? But when you're there, baby, when I tell you, okay, so it's Smiles and Sisterhood. So it's specifically for Black women entrepreneurs. That many Black women in a room, like the networking that was happening in there, as I'm talking about, is giving me goosebumps. Okay. Never mind the fact that Crystal is a genius at what she does, because by the time I left there, like she takes such great pictures. I went in knowing I was like, they give you add-ons. Like I know I was going to get one for free, but they give you add-ons. Like if you want to get this, you get kind of, you want all your photos as is, edit it, whatever, have blah, blah, blah. But baby, so I went into it like I'm gonna take all my as is, right? Because at the end of the day, I mean, Canva be doing what Canva need to do, right? So if I needed to edit something for real, ask me if I can, depending on what it looks like, what the picture like. Like I don't even be knowing what y'all be editing. Like maybe it's to make your skin more flush, but sis still had this summertime glow, so everything was looking okay. So I didn't need any, for me, I didn't need any of that. Like, give me my as is. I'm good to go, right? Baby, when I seen them pictures, I was like, who is this? Okay, who is this girl right here on this screen? It is me. That's who it is. It is me. And so I was just so excited about doing the photo shoot in general, but seeing the pictures afterwards just, oh, it just made me so just yeah, it just lit me up, right? And so I just want to shout out Crystal from iMagery. Thank you so much. She is wonderful. I'm praying that she will be a guest on this podcast, because the whole time that's what I was talking to her about. And I told her, if I'm gonna let you do your job, then you kind of gotta let me do mine, right? But I understand. And I told her the same way I'm nervous behind this camera is the same way I understand you're gonna be nervous behind the mic. But I got you. I got you. So Crystal, if you listen to this, I got you, sis. I got you. I mentioned last week that I have to go back to work. And that, right, I might have to spend an episode on that, because looking for a job is a full-time job. I just want to say that. But we're not in a panorama anymore, right? And life is just different, and I have goals and I have things that I want to do for myself, for my family. And so remember earlier when I said, if you ain't making money in entrepreneurship, it's a hobby. Yeah, the federal government feels the same way, right? And so you got to be making money, and in the meantime, like, your money can't just keep coming out. You got to be able to have some income, but then also you have to be able to invest into it as well. And so I ain't going nowhere, but I need to be able to I got to get it together, right? And so that's just what it's going to be. But we're going to talk about that, dig a little deeper into that later. But today I want us to talk about this really quickly, because I watched this sermon a couple of weeks ago. And so let me start out by saying, a part of, last week with the You Got It Buddy episode, funny story really quickly, right? So You got it, buddy. We actually named it a drink. It's the name of a drink, right? So like I said, it's my father says you got it, buddy, when, we greet people, whatever. Like that's his just chill mode. Like you ever met my dad, he just so chill. So if he talking to you, hey, buddy, how you doing? Oh, you got it. Like sometimes it's like that. But that whole like when I say last week, your hands off, like, hey, I ain't even about to mess with that. He just be like, oh, you got it, buddy, right? And so one day we were like, my dad drinks rum and Coke, rum and Pepsi. Let me take that back. Rum and Pepsi, okay? Ain't no Coke in it. Um, and so that's what we call his drink. Oh, you got it, buddy. Like, so we'll be like, hey, you want to, when we go on vacation and stuff, like, you want to, you got it, buddy. Like, yeah. So we all think it's funny, right? It's just a cute little thing, right? So when they saw the name of the podcast, my sister was like, bruh, did you name the podcast You Got It, Buddy? I said, bruh, you have to listen to it. So then I text my dad. I was like, oh, hey, guess what? I named the podcast You Got It, Buddy. He's like, oh, no, you didn't. I said, it's because we know what it means is the reason why, which I thought it was so funny because I was like, it's actually a good thing that I named it that. But anyway, a part of me being in this space of managing my anxiety and just kind of like figuring out like how to get through my week on Mondays, I specifically use that day to fast from social media. And so what I do, this is a tip for anybody who actually tries. If you have an iPhone, I don't know what you need to do on an Android because I don't have one of those. But if you have an iPhone, on Sunday night before I go to bed, I go to my settings and I go to my storage and I offload all of my social media platforms. So Instagram, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, and I don't really go on link. Well, I do. So LinkedIn. So yeah, sometimes LinkedIn, sometimes LinkedIn. And so I take offload all 5 of those Sunday night, right? Because I'm doing 24 hours. It is to ensure that I don't wake up and push Instagram first thing in the morning because we know that's what we do, right? And so it's been working for me just fine. And so I keep it off and I actually don't turn it back on till Tuesday, right? I could turn it on Monday night, but I go to bed. So it's literally basically from Sunday night to Monday, Tuesday morning, whatever have you. So anyway, during that time, I am intentional about only listening to worship music and only watching sermons throughout the day. So they're on when I'm cleaning. They're excuse me. They're on when I'm cleaning. They're on when I am. Sometimes when I'm working, I'll have a sermon just playing in the background when I'm cooking, grocery store. Like it's just I'm using that all of Monday to really just like fill me up, right? And give me the strength I need to get into the week. And so I'll say I've been doing it for maybe like it might be like 6 weeks, 7 weeks, something like that. And I promise you, every time that since I've been doing it, I definitely feel way more fulfilled, right? I really feel like that I'm more focused. I'm more in tune with what it is that God will have for me and what He wants. And I feel so much more present. And it's not to say that I wasn't before, but sometimes when you're doing the same thing over and over again in any relationship, but specifically with your relationship with God, oftentimes we think that He's missing because we ain't heard from Him, but really it's because we ain't been checking in. And so this is my intentional, dedicated way to check in with Him and be like, I'm here, use me, right? So one of the sermons that I watched is Sarah Jake Roberts Breaking Through the Noise. And this is probably like months ago. Like, cause I literally went back in the catalog and was like, if I'm gonna do this, I can watch the current stuff, of course, but some stuff I wanted to go back. So SJR is my girl. So I just went back and I'm listening to this episode. This sermon, and that brings me to today's topic. So it's release your sound. And so she's talking about breaking through the noise of wherever you are, whatever you're supposed to be doing. But really like, what is yours? Like your sound will break through some things, right? And so I felt, I got goosebumps again. I felt so inspired by that because it's taken me a very long time to realize that is how slaying self-doubt moves through this earth, is through my voice. And so she was saying, release the sound, release the sound. That's what she was verbally saying, release the sound. And I kept hearing the Holy Spirit was saying, release your sound, release your sound, release your sound. And I just was like, in my, y'all, I be tripping. And so I'm in my mind, like, that's not what she's saying. And so I'm like, no, but it was release your sound, release your sound. And it was like this continued like confirmation, affirmation that I have to release my sound and I have to use my voice. Like, a lot of times we don't know how God has equipped us to use or move through this earth, right? Some people it's through artistry, some people it's through music, some people it's through singing, acting, speaking, writing, like so many different things. The creativity is like it's just all of it. We have lots of different things, right? And so when I think about releasing my sound, it is my voice. It literally is me sharing my stories. It's literally me sharing what God has given me. It is me opening my mouth and using this mic. And for a very long time, I thought this was something small. For a very long time, I thought this was like, I'm not really sure how God going to use this, but, we push certain things to the side. And what I'm saying to you is today, like, what is your sound? And it doesn't have to be like audible, right? But what is your thing? Whatever your thing is, release that. And I know the power of releasing my sound over my life and over the people's lives that have heard my sound, right? I have been in spaces, rooms, conversations, places that I know the atmosphere changes. It's not me. It ain't me, right? I know in every conversation that I have, every interview that I do, every masterclass, every coaching session, I know the minute the Holy Spirit shows up, the goosebumps that I be feeling, and I be like, okay. And I just end up in those moments in my mind, like if I'm, whatever it is, like I said, if I'm in the middle of an interview, I don't say it verbally out loud, but the minute I feel it, when the Holy Spirit is like, okay, we about to go, right? I'll be like, use me, like, just go ahead, right? Because I know that this is the thing that God has called me to do. I know that there is power in my voice. In the beginning, I told y'all like 2 years ago, I wrote that podcast guide, right? And I wasn't really sure, but I always called it using the power of your voice. It just kind of sat there, right? Like I told you, when I decided to go back, it told me I was 300 some odd weeks like MIA, right? Because girl, you had left it here, right? And so I know that it's important, right? That he gave me that 2 years ago to put out into the earth. And here I was sitting on it because I didn't believe, right? I mean, how am I? Okay, yep. How am I going to tell you to use the power of your voice if I don't think my voice got any power? How am I going to tell you to shake up the earth if I don't think I can shake up the earth? How am I going to tell you to shake up your family if I don't believe I'm shaking up mine? How am I going to tell you they waiting for your sound if I don't believe you waiting for mine? Right? Those are my points for today. Shake up the earth, shake up your family, and they're waiting for your sound. Right? And so as I was thinking about what I'm gonna talk about today, so over the summer or whatever have you, like as I was doing different things, I was writing down like different things that came up to me, like, oh, I might talk about this, I might talk about that. But I knew this was what I was going to talk about. I knew that this was going to be a topic that I was going to have to say something about at the very beginning, because I was like, doing that fasting from social media for those, so far for these couple of weeks, and also now I'm doing 75 medium. Look it up. I can't remember all the stuff, so I'm not even about to say. Matter of fact, no, it's a screenshot because one of the girls in our group gave us a screenshot. So healthy food choices 90% of the time, work out 45 minutes a day, got to take a progressive picture on the first and the 75th day, drink half your body weight in ounces of water per day, meditate 5 minutes a day, read or listen to 10 minutes of personal development or inspiration a day. And so some of those things I was already doing, right? But now I'm being very intentional about it because I know that this is a part of this challenge, right? But So in doing that, it breeds so much clarity when you remove the noise, right? And then when I'm able to remove the noise, then I'm able to hear what it is that God is really trying to share with me. And I've told y'all before, God uses people for me, right? Lots of times people are my confirmation. Sometimes it's, random conversations, it is specific conversations, stuff that we say, and they'll say it, and I know, okay, this is what God is telling me. And so over the last couple of weeks, again, like I said before, sometimes we think that God is distant from us. He, first of all, that's never true because he's always right there. He's omnipresent, right? So he's never gone. It's us. So we are distant from him. We think we hiding, but he can see you. Okay. Um, but a lot of times we feel that way because we're disconnected out of our disobedience. That's the reason why you're disconnected. You're disconnected because you know you being disobedient, right? And so doing this thing has allowed me to be open and honest and transparent about the things that have been difficult for me, right? Some of the difficulties were, God, this ain't what it's supposed to look like. I thought that this, like, how, what, like, I thought you took me from this to do this, or how come things are taking so? We ask a lot of what about, why not, why this, all that other stuff. And one day God just told me, just be, right? Like, just be present, enjoy the space that you're in, live, like, today. That's it. Like, live today. That's it. And so I did this whole like devotional about anxiety and just like not taking things in. And being as though that's something I already struggle with, it's an active daily work, daily practice to remove all of the noise, right? But in doing that, it also gave me clarity in that a part of my work is using my voice to talk about the things that people are hiding from, to talk about the things that nobody is, that we're now starting to talk about, but it may not be your thing, right? And the fact that people just want to feel seen. And also that when you release your sound, that is giving God his glory, right? When you are not using, and when you're not using your voice, and I'm saying this, release your sound using your voice. It's whatever your thing is, right? It, and like I said, don't have to be an audible thing, but stay with me, right? Whenever you are not releasing your sound, it's disobedience to God. Whenever you are not releasing your sound, you are stopping other people from being set free. Whenever you are not releasing your sound, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You're not being purposeful, right? Because the only reason you're not releasing your sound is because you don't think it's working. The only reason you ain't releasing your sound is because for real, you don't trust him. The reason you not showing up and doing the thing that he's telling you to do is because you don't believe. Like, you say it, but you don't truly believe. It's that faith, right? Like that thing that because you don't see it, you don't believe that it could be true and it could happen for you. You see all these other people, things happening to other people, and all these people get, quickly viral video or something just happens, or some simple stuff, right? And you like, now how did you get on the news for this, or how did you get that? That's not your business. You all in somebody else's business, in somebody else's lane, trying to figure out why God bless them. And whole time he looking at you like, well, if you would do what you were supposed to do, because guess what they was doing? Regular stuff, regular, what they do every single day, right? The same stuff. They just happened to catch it on camera, right? But they weren't acting. They were doing their thing. Then, of course, that doesn't go for everybody, but for the most part, these things are people who are consistently showing up. And what we do is we show up for about 2 weeks and we be like, I haven't reaped the rewards of it. I don't know if this is working. This isn't working for me anymore. I don't see any benefits of it. Now, let me just say this, right? Because I'm challenging myself here as well. If the Lord looked down upon us and said, I don't see the benefits of this anymore. You're just, and he just was like, I'm done with you. We would have a fit, right? But he's asking something like, and that's the beautiful part about him, is that even with our trifling selves, he still continues to bless us. He still continues to look out for us, right? Takes care of babies and fools. Like, he continues to make sure that we are prosperous, that we are. I told y'all last week, life be life, and but God be God and too. And I guarantee you, if you look over your life, you will see where he shows up. And we still be like, I don't want to. I don't know if this is it. We still questioning him. And so this sermon was the thing that was like, girl, you better open your mouth. You better get out here and you better do it, because if in order, like the noise is all the other stuff, all the stuff that I was just saying, like the comparison, the social media, the naysayers, the negative self-talk, all that stuff, that's noise. But the only way you're gonna break through the noise is if you do you. And the only way I could break through my noise is if I release my sound, right? I had to get into a space where I'm like, this, you don't know the reason why you started. You do, but you don't, right? Like, you didn't know the end of it. You didn't know that this was going to be it. When I started this in March of 2019, there was no way that I could have seen that this is what freaking September of 2023 would have looked like. None of it. Everything that has transpired since then, there's absolutely no way I could have known that this is where I would be. The relationships I've made, the networking that I have done, the places I've been able to go, like, none of those things, it would have never, I don't know, but it's because I was moving, I was in action, and I was releasing my sound. But the minute it started to get tough, or when God challenges you to do more. So what we think, oh, well, I've been doing this and I should be rewarded for here. Well, sometimes what your faith and your belief got you here, but in order to get you with the next step, that's going to require more of you, right? So here I am saying to you all, yeah, I want my own content studio, baby. I'm trying to be on Essence Stage, and I'm watching all of these podcasters, these people out here who literally do the same thing that I do, that are on these stages, getting asked to these conferences, asking to be guest speakers and moderators and keynote speakers, and I'm like, hey, pick me. But why would God drop me in there if in about 3 weeks I'm gonna be like, well, I don't even know if I want to do this no more. Now, I'm not saying that I actually say that, but I'm saying when your attitude is like, I mean, it's going, right? We know what, like, at the end of the day, you know what it is when you giving like 60%, like, I mean, I'm still doing it. He ain't about to be out here throwing, because you ain't going to embarrass him. That's not what you're not going to do. Your blessing is on him. His blessing is on you, but you're not going to embarrass him by not being prepared for when he's going to send you somewhere. So next week, I want to talk about a devotional that I read again during one of my Mondays. And a part of the devotional says, when God knows you're prepared for it, you don't have to fight for it. And the thing about it is, how do you get prepared? You get prepared by doing what you need to do. You get prepared by still creating, keep writing, keep recording, keep taking pictures, keep singing, keep dancing, keep being creative, keep cooking, keep trying, just keep going. Release your sound over and over. Continue to release your sound, because you do not know who needs to hear, see, view, watch, whatever it is that God put on you. You have to shake up the earth. That is what we're meant here to do. We are meant to shake up the earth so we can break the generational curses around us, right? You could break generational curses in other people's families. You can break generational curses between friends groups. You can break generational curses in schools, in cities, in countries. Like, you can do that. Like that is not beyond God. He can use you to do those things, but he has to know that you're going to continue to release your sound. You need to shake up your family. We are consistently, specifically in the Black community, so used to being like, I mean, that's the way it's always been. It don't have to be. And even if it is, that don't make it right. Period. Like, it don't make it right just because it's always been like that. You have the authority to shake up your family, regardless of what everybody else gonna say. Because guess what? I guarantee you, whatever it is that you do, they're going to catch this blessing. When I tell you that when I open my mouth and I share, and I've said this before on here, the conversations I've had with my grandmother, aunts, cousins, like the people that some people, be honest, I don't always talk to, right? But when they come and they like, you know what, I was been listening to your podcast, and I'll be like, oh, for real? You know, first of all, I'm always surprised when people say that. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if I was releasing my sound, right? Like, I should be like, as you should, period, right? That's what I need to be saying when they say, oh, I'll be listening to your podcast. My little cousin say, right? Like, okay, yes, because that's what needs to happen. You should be, right? But I like those conversations that I had when they're just like, man, it's just so powerful the way that you speak and how you share things. And, you know, that's something I don't know. When I go into runs and I've asked to be a speaker or asked to be in, you know, a panelist or to moderate, like the feedback that I get from people that are like, I'm so glad that you shared that. I'm so glad that you opened your mouth. I'm so glad that you put your story out there. The number of women that have come up to me, actually men and women, actually in different situations, the number of times that I have shared my Bell's palsy story and somebody comes up and they say, same thing happened to me, but the difference is that I didn't go find out what was wrong. But now that you told me that it was stress, that makes so much sense. Right? All I'm doing is sharing my story. That's it. I'm just opening my mouth, and people are being like, you know what, I gotta take better care of myself. But they get an awakening because now they're clear because I released my sound, right? And then last but not least, y'all, our obedience is connected to somebody else. There are people waiting for your sound. There are people waiting for your sound. You have to do your work. You have to do your work. I don't know what that is. I'd be willing to help you if you would like, but I don't know what that's between you and God. And that's not between you, God, and your mother, you, God, and your sister, you, God. And it's not a group discussion. It is a one-on-one conversation, but you got to make space for him. You have to make room. You have to put aside the things that are distractions. You have to take time. And I'm not saying go to, now I ain't gonna say what I'm doing is extreme, right? But maybe you're not ready for a 24-hour fast and saying all I'm gonna do is listen to worship music and sermons. Maybe you just like, give me 2 hours, and you know, instead of me listening to the radio, I'm gonna listen to a sermon or listen to worship music. But you have to give God his time. You have to make space for him. And I'm telling you that making space for him is the difference between you living in so much angst, worry, discontentment, and being free. Like, my life is no different, right? There's still stressful things happening to me. But where I was 6 weeks ago, when I was wound up with anxiety, that I could feel it in my fingertips, that I could feel it like radiating through my body, that once I said no more, like this is it, like I told y'all, we cutting it off at the head. That ain't, nope, not happening. I gotta figure out another way. And I was like, okay, Lord, what you need me to do? And I said to myself, trying to figure it out, I had a good old cry, because crying definitely releases anxiety. But after I had a good old cry, I was like, all right, I have to put him back at the forefront. I have to seek first the kingdom of God, and all his righteousness will be given unto you. I believe that's what it is, y'all. Matthew 6:33. Y'all know I'm still, but seek first the kingdom of God, period. Right. And so when I started doing that, that just it really has given me peace. Every morning I wake up, I read my devotional, I listen. But in the morning, I read another devotion that said the word, get into the word before you get into the world. Now I do turn on the news because I just be needing to know what the weather going to be like in traffic and stuff like that. But generally I keep that on mute, right? And so I'll read my scriptures, I do my affirmations, I did another devotional that was talking about the Lord's Prayer. I start my day with the Lord's Prayer. It is the perfect prayer, a simple prayer, because that's the one that Jesus said to use. Okay. Start my day with that. Then I listened to some worship, and it's so funny because this morning my kids was like, when God coming out with a new album? And I said, what? So he was like, when God coming out with a new album? Because you've been playing the same two songs. And I was just like, I love them. It's More Than Able by Elevation Worship. And oh my gosh, what is the second song? It's the literal very next song on that album. I'm about to tell y'all real quick. But More Than Able, come on, music. And Trust in God. I had a feeling that's what it was. Excuse me. And if you subscribe to the newsletter, I put More Than Able in the as the song for the week to slay your week. And I will be using Trust in God for this week. And I'll be putting the for the sermon of the week, I'm going to be using Sir Jake's this one that we're talking about today. But I just was kind of like, I love the songs because the first one just reminds me that he's more than able. He's never not, like, there's the ending part. It says, I come a long way. I see, man, I'm gonna have to turn this down because I don't want it to be loud. But it's a part in the song where well, first of all, it's the part that's like, can you imagine with all the faith in the room what the Lord can do, what the Lord can do? Can you imagine with all of the faith in the room what the Lord can do, what the Lord can do? And I continue to sing this part of my song. Who am I to deny what the Lord can do? He says, I come a long way. Child, now I can't even find the lyrics. But basically, he's going to move, just let the way make a move. That he's not going to fail me, right? You're not, and he's not done with me. Like, you're not done with me yet. That is how he ends. There's more, there's so much more to my story. He's not done with me yet. Like, that is, God is more than able. Don't stop believing. Don't stop quitting. He can do miracles. Like, this is who he is. And then trusting in God basically is trusting in him. And then it's the same part at the end. He will never fail. He never fails. That's why I trust him. And the part that I love, I sought the Lord, and he heard and he answered. And so I told him, I was like, because those songs give me hope before I go out to start my day. It's just a reminder that God's not done with me. He is more than able. And that if I seek him, he will hear me and he will answer. Those are the things that I'm standing on, right? And so even in releasing my sound, right, I'm listening to a worship song and I'm singing through it. I don't care if I'm singing every day. He gonna get tired of it. It's fine. I might switch it up tomorrow, give him something else. It's another song that I like. But those are the things of how I start my day and releasing my sound so that I can go out into the earth and do whatever it is that God has called me to do, whether it's in slaying self-doubt, whether it's in my marriage, whether it's in my parenting, in my friendships, in my job. Like, this is me releasing my sound. So it's not a one thing, right? But it's always me being tuned in enough to the Holy Spirit to know when it's time for me to speak, to being tuned into the Holy Spirit enough to know when it's time for me to let him use me, right? And so today I just want to encourage y'all, right? I don't necessarily have a question for today, but I want to encourage you to shake up the earth, shake up your family. And I want you to know that they are waiting for your sound. Somebody is waiting for you. Child, might be me. You might be holding on to something that I need deliverance from, but I can't get it because you over there wondering who cares. I care. I need help. Right? Like we all have gifts and things that we can pour out into this world. And so I'm just saying, um, it's not worth it not doing it. Like you literally have nothing to lose. You literally have nothing to lose and everything to gain by releasing your sound. So actually, I guess I do have a question. What's your sound? And how are you going to release it? That's what we asked today. What is your sound and how are you going to release it? That is what I want to challenge you all to think about and share with me. You can email it to me at info@slangselfdoubt.com. You can share it in the comment section when this podcast is airing, when it airs. So you guys, I told you, I'm gonna keep reminding you. The announcement is going to always be registered for the Slaying One Day workshop this month. It is on September 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Tickets are $25, guys, for an hour and a half of your time. It's an investment for you to get these 4 tips on how to slay. Okay, I'm going to show you how. As always, thank y'all so much for walking with me. I am so appreciative of each and every one of you. And I don't take it lightly that you all tune into me. And so I thank you. I thank you very, very much. Again, if you enjoy this podcast and you find it valuable, I told you all that we are trying to reach more people. I need equipment, cameras, lights, and I want a content studio. And that is the thing that I really know that the things that I can do in that space. I'm believing for it, right? And so if you want to be a part of that and you want to sow into that vision that I have and sow into this thing that is going to shake up the earth, baby. Slaying Self-Doubt is going to shake up the earth, okay? Go ahead and buy me a coffee. You can make that donation by clicking the link in the bio, in the show notes, website, or bio, okay? Jesus in therapy, y'all, all the time. Take charge of your mental health and get 10% off your first month of therapy at betterhelp.com/slaying, SLAYING. If you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed to the Slayer Nation newsletter. Share. We're trying to hit 10,000 downloads this year, so please share with at least 10 people on all platforms, baby. Follow me at Slaying Self-Doubt everywhere, okay? Until next week, keep slaying, sis. See ya. As always, y'all, thank you for rocking with me. Again, if you enjoyed this podcast and you find it valuable, you enjoy this channel and you find it valuable, please consider donating by buying me a coffee. Your support will help me to create new content, get an official podcast studio, and ultimately reach more people. That's what we need. We need more people on this movement, okay? If you're not already signed up to the newsletter, go to my website, www.slayingselfdoubt.com, and sign up for the Slayer Nation newsletter. That's where you'll get updates, where you'll get what's going on. You'll get the news first. You don't have to wait until I announce it or hear, okay? And lastly, second to last, please make sure that you share this with at least 10 people. We are trying to reach 100,000 downloads this year, and every subscription, every share counts. So we need it. We need you to send it out to your peoples so they can help us hit our goal this year. Lastly, if you are not already following me on Instagram, you need to go on over there and follow me at Slaying Self-Doubt. Until the next episode, see ya.